Montpelier, Vermont, the smallest capital with a big heart. Nestled in a green valley where the Winooski River meets the North Branch, Montpelier stands as the smallest state capital in America, yet its history reaches far beyond its size. The city rests among wooded hills in the center of Vermont, a place chosen not for grandeur, but for balance. Its gold dome rises above maples, church steeples, brick storefronts, and river bridges, reminding visitors that government here grew close to ordinary life. Montpelier became a capital because Vermont needed a steady center, and over time, that practical decision became part of the state's identity. Long before European settlement, this valley belonged to the Abenaki people, who knew the rivers, hills, and hunting grounds as part of a living landscape. The name Winooski comes from an Abenaki word often understood as meaning onion land, a reference to the wild onions that grew along the riverbanks. The river valleys offered food, movement, and shelter, and the meeting of streams made the area useful for travel and exchange. Before there was a state house, there were paths, planting grounds, fishing places, and seasonal patterns shaped by native knowledge. Montpelier's European-American story began during the uncertain years after the Revolution. In 1781, while Vermont was still an independent republic, Colonel Jacob Davis, Joel Frizzle, and other proprietors received a charter for the town. Davis, a veteran from Massachusetts, came to the area in 1787 and built a log cabin near the North Branch. He cleared land, built a mill, and helped open the settlement to families looking for farms and independence. He chose the name Montpelier in honor of Montpellier, France, reflecting the admiration many Americans felt for France after its support during the Revolutionary War. The first settlement grew slowly, but its location mattered. By 1791, the year Vermont entered the Union as the 14th state, Montpelier had a small population and a future tied to the rivers. Mills appeared along the North Branch, bridges connected farm roads, and cleared fields spread into the surrounding hills. The Winooski linked the town to wider trade, while the valley protected it from the harshest winds. Like much of early Vermont, Montpelier developed through labor, neighborly obligation, and a stubborn faith in local self-government. For Vermont's first years as a state, the legislature moved from town to town. That traveling government reflected regional rivalry between the eastern and western sides of the Green Mountains. By 1805, lawmakers wanted a permanent seat that did not belong too strongly to either side. Montpelier offered a central position and, just as important, local support. Thomas Davis, son of Jacob Davis, donated land for a state house, and residents pledged money and materials. The choice was practical, political, and symbolic. A small inland town would become the public center of a state built on mountain independence. The first state house was a modest wooden building completed soon after the capital decision. It stood on the same general site where the present Capitol rises today. The building was not large, but it gave Vermont's government a home. Around it, taverns, shops, offices, and houses gathered. Legislators arrived by rough roads, often in difficult weather, bringing with them the concerns of farms, villages, mills, and mountain towns. The capital was not separate from daily life. It was part of it, surrounded by mud, snow, river water, and the work of a growing community. As Vermont expanded, the old wooden state house no longer matched the state's needs. A second state house, designed by Ammi B. Young, was completed in the 1830s, but fire destroyed much of it in 1857. The disaster could have erased a young capital's confidence. Instead, Vermont rebuilt quickly. The present Vermont State House was completed in 1859, using the surviving portico and the design ideas of architect Thomas Silloway. Built in Greek Revival style, it combined dignity with a human scale. Its columns and balanced lines suggested order, while its setting against the hill kept it close to the land. The famous dome did not always look as it does today. Its wooden structure was made to appear like stone, and its copper covering was originally painted before it was later gilded in gold leaf. The statue of Ceres, the Roman goddess of agriculture, stands above the dome as a reminder of Vermont's farming heritage. The symbol matters. Vermont's capital was never only about lawmakers and documents. It was also about fields, barns, forests, and families who depended on the seasons. The State House became a civic landmark, but it also remained a reflection of the rural state around it. During the 19th century, Montpelier grew as a political and commercial center. The Central Vermont Railway reached the city in 1849, tying it more closely to Burlington, Boston, and markets beyond the hills. Mills and workshops along the rivers produced lumber, tools, cloth, and other goods. Nearby Barr's granite industry also influenced the region, bringing stonecutters, artisans, and immigrant families into central Vermont's economy. Banks, newspapers, hotels, and law offices appeared around the capital. Montpelier remained small, but it was not isolated. It became a working town where politics, manufacturing, trade, and print culture met. The city also carried the marks of national history. Vermont soldiers marched through these valleys during the Civil War era, and the State House became a place where sacrifice and duty were remembered. Public ceremonies, portraits, and memorials connected the small capital to larger American struggles. At the same time, local government continued to shape everyday life through roads, schools, bridges, water, and fire protection. In 1895, Montpelier was organized as a city, while East Montpelier remained a separate town. That change reflected growth, but also the difference between village life in the valley and farming life in the surrounding uplands. Montpelier's history has also been shaped by water. The rivers that gave the city life have sometimes brought destruction. Floods tested the community more than once, especially during the Great Vermont Flood of 1927 and again in later generations. Each time, Montpelier repaired streets, restored businesses, and returned to the river with caution and respect. That pattern of damage and rebuilding is part of the city's character. It teaches that beauty in a mountain valley comes with responsibility. The same water that turns mills, reflects the dome, and nourishes the land can also remind people of nature's power. In Montpelier today, the past remains close. The State House still faces the city with unusual openness, its lawn inviting rather than forbidding. Downtown streets follow the river valley, lined with brick buildings, shops, libraries, offices, and gathering places. The scale is modest, but the meaning is deep. Montpelier endures because it represents Vermont's belief that public life should remain human, local, and accountable. Its smallness also preserves something rare in American government: the feeling that public decisions can still be seen, heard, and understood at close range by citizens who walk the same streets, cross the same bridges, and meet under the same winter sky in every season. The smallest capital with a big heart is not small in memory. It is a capital built from charter, river, fire, railway, flood, and faith, still glowing beneath the hills.